If your ancestors came from Europe or Asia, roughly 2% of your DNA belongs to an extinct species of human. You are not entirely human. You are a hybrid. Your body is carrying the genetic ghosts of a species that died out 40,000 years ago. They were called the Neanderthals. For over a century, we viewed them as brutish, stupid cavemen. We thought they were an evolutionary dead end. We thought our ancestors simply wiped them out. But the truth is far more intimate. And far more disturbing. We didn't just kill them. We loved them. We brought them into our beds. And their DNA is still pulsing inside your veins right now. To understand how this happened, we have to go back 60,000 years. The Earth was gripped by a brutal ice age. Europe and Asia were frozen wastelands. The Neanderthals had already lived there for hundreds of thousands of years. They were perfectly adapted to the cold. They had massive, muscular bodies. They had large brains. They were expert hunters who took down mammoths with wooden spears. They buried their dead. They even made jewelry out of eagle talons. They were not the stupid apes we imagined. They were people. But a new threat was marching out of the African savanna. Our ancestors. Homo sapiens. We were taller. We were leaner. We had advanced weapons and complex language. We poured into the Neanderthal territories like a flood. The two species met. What happened when they locked eyes across the frozen tundra? Did they fight? Yes. But they did something else entirely. For thousands of years, these two species lived side by side. They competed for the same food. They shared the same caves. And occasionally, they mated. It wasn't a one-time event. It happened repeatedly. In different places, across different thousands of years. Geneticists know this because we can see the evidence in our own blood. In 2010, a team of scientists led by Svante Pääbo did the impossible. They sequenced the entire Neanderthal genome. They extracted DNA from a 40,000-year-old bone fragment. They compared it to modern human DNA. The results were shocking. If you have European or Asian ancestry, you are part Neanderthal. Roughly 1 to 2% of your genetic code is theirs. You carry their mutations. You carry their immune system. You might even carry their depression. But why do we only have 2%? If we interbred, why aren't we 50% Neanderthal? The answer is a genetic mystery that scientists are still unraveling. It seems that male human Neanderthal hybrids were sterile. They could not reproduce. The two species were just different enough that their chromosomes didn't perfectly align. But the female hybrids survived. They carried the Neanderthal genes forward. Over thousands of generations, natural selection slowly weeded out most of the Neanderthal DNA. It was incompatible with our species. But a tiny fraction survived. Why? What did those surviving genes do? They saved your ancestors' lives. Neanderthals had spent hundreds of thousands of years adapting to European diseases. They had immune genes that fought off local pathogens. When modern humans arrived from Africa, their immune systems were completely naive. They were walking into a biological war zone. The Neanderthal genes gave them a massive survival advantage. Your ancestors literally stole the Neanderthals' genetic armor. It wasn't just the immune system. A study in 2020 found that Neanderthal DNA affects your risk of severe COVID-19. One Neanderthal variant increases your risk of respiratory failure. Another variant protects you from it. A genetic gift from 40,000 years ago is deciding who survives a modern pandemic. But it gets stranger. Neanderthal DNA is still active in your brain. A researcher named Michael Gregory found that Neanderthal genes affect how your brain processes pain. People with Neanderthal variants feel pain more intensely. They have a lower pain threshold. Their brains are wired differently. A 2017 study found that Neanderthal variants are linked to depression and neurological disorders. The very genes that helped your ancestors survive the Ice Age are now making you anxious. Why would nature keep genes that cause pain and depression? Because pain is a teacher. A lower pain threshold means you notice danger sooner. In the brutal Ice Age, noticing a frostbitten toe early meant keeping your foot. Depression might have been a survival mechanism. It forces you to withdraw and conserve energy during long, dark winters. Your modern anxiety is an ancient survival tool. But the most profound question remains. What happened to the Neanderthals? Why did they vanish? They didn't vanish. They were absorbed. Neanderthal populations were always small. They lived in isolated groups of 50 or fewer. Modern humans arrived in groups of hundreds. We outnumbered them 10 to 1. We didn't need to kill them all. We just loved them. Every time a human and a Neanderthal had a child, the Neanderthal population shrank. The hybrids joined the human tribes. Over thousands of years, the pure Neanderthals simply faded away. Their unique physical traits disappeared. The heavy brow ridges vanished. The massive chests shrank. But their DNA survived inside us. They didn't go extinct in the way we imagined. They became part of us. Every time you feel a sharp twinge of anxiety, or your immune system fights off a cold, or you struggle with a dark mood, you might be feeling the echo of a Neanderthal. You are the ghost of an extinct species. Your body is a museum of human history. And the Neanderthals are still on display. They are looking out through your eyes. They are breathing with your lungs. They never really died. We just forgot who they were.